So for shirt, I'm going to join the darts first up both sides like this and like this, and I'll join to the down like this, to the blouse length here, not to the hip length. You can make it maybe from the blouse length. You can use 2 inches or 1.5, whichever one you want. I'm making a shirt or just a shirt or a jacket. But if I'm making like a fitted blouse that is going to be fitted under her bust here, so what instead of doing now, it's a different way of making the dart line. So what I'll do now is, remember the 1.5 inches I added for the dart at the waistline is what I removed here. So by doing this now, there's no more darts on this body. Let me just explain to you. So if I want to measure, if we remove this 1.5 here and I will draw this line, I will measure the waist. The waist was 9 1/4. I make sure I get the 9 1/4. So I start from here like this. I'll measure. Now this is where I mark the first 3/4 measurement. 3/4 measurement. I have from here to here is now 3/4. Then I'll jump it. I'll jump this space here, this 1.5 space, and continue from here now. Continue from here. Now you can see, and I'll stop here. You can see, look at it very well. It's 9 1/4. You can see that's how, by removing this 1.5 here now, there's no more dart on this thing again. Now if I'm making a fitted blouse and the dart is different from this way. Now remember, I used 1.5 here. Now at the under bust line, I'm going to remove 2 inches. I remove 1.5 at the waist, and the under bust line, I'm going to remove 2 inches. If you added 1 inch for the dart line at the waist here, by the time you remove your 1 inch, at the under bust, you are going to remove 1.5. So that it depends on whatever you add, it's going to be, the under bust is going to be half inch bigger. So now that 2 inches, I'm going to share it into 1 inches. So from this point here, I'm going to measure 1 inch here, and I'm going to measure 1 inch here, which will give me 2 inches. So I'll measure my 1 inch here, and I'll measure my 1 inch here. So since I'm making a fitted blouse, now this dart here, I'll join it here like this, then I'll join this here like this. Before I'll not join it to the bust point, I join it to the bust point like this. You can see the dart is looking different now. Then I'll join it down like this. So I'm just making a straight blouse. So you can see the difference between the darts here. For the dart for a simple blouse or a jacket, and the dart for a fitted blouse is different. Now this part is the front. Now I want to go ahead with the back now. So I won't start at the edge of the paper here. I can just bring it like 2 inches inside like this. You don't want to start at the edge of the paper because of the zip allowance. So let me say I start 2 inches now. I'll measure it down and I join the points together. So this line I just introduced now is the zip line. This is the zip line. So I'm going to start my measurement from this point inside. I'll start from here inside. Remember, for the front I started from this point inside, but for the back I'm going to start from this point inside. So the first line I'm going to measure now is on the neck. Remember, the horizontal neck measurement is 3 1/4. And for the vertical, remember I said you remove 1 inch or 1.5. Remember, we remove 1.5, so we have 2 1/4 left. So I'm going to join the shape together. This is the neck for the back. Now the last line is the shoulder. Our shoulder was 8 inches. 8 inches. I'll measure the chest line. For the chest for the back was 7.5. Remember how I got it. Now the bust, remember, is 10.5. Then I'll join all points together now. You can see the armhole is forming. Then I'll join the shoulder to the neck like this. Then the next line for the back doesn't need under bust. So we just go straight to the waistline. Remember, the waistline is 9 1/4. I added 1 inch dart allowance. Now the hip, I measure the hip on the hip line now. We have 11. So we join all points together now. Join all points together. Join all points. So you can see the shape of the back now. So remember, we still have the dart line, the nipple to nipple at the front. So we're still going to introduce it here at the back. So from here, I'll measure 4.5. Remember, I'll got that measurement, and I'll still measure it at the hip line here, and join all points together like this. Now, remember at the front we added 1.5 inches dart, but at the back here, remember we added 1 inch dart. So just what we did at the front, normally we are supposed to remove. We are share the 1 inch into to half inch. We'll remember to make the dart now. We measure half inch here, and we'll join it together for the dart. But now this is what I advise. The back of a woman is never straight. Remember, this is a zip part. It's a straight line. It's a straight line, but no woman back is straight like this. So that is why sometimes when you fix your zip, you start folding at the back. So for you to correct that thing now, remember we added 1 inch dart here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share that 1 inch into 2, which is supposed to be half inch and half inch. So I'm going to take one. If I remove 1/2 inch, it's going to remain half inch. Now, so I'm going to remove 1/2 inch here. I'm going to remove it at the waistline at this zip point here. I'm going to remove it here. So I'll measure the half inch dart like this now. Yeah. So I'll join it to the hip line and to the neck. By joining this now, you can see that the back is no longer straight. So this former straight line here is going to be raised off. We're not going to use this straight line. So our new zip line is this slightly curved in line like this. So where I got this half inch I removed here was from the dart we added at the waist. So now it's going to remain an extra half inch dart. So that extra half inch dart, I'm going to remove it along this dart line here. So I'll share that half inch into 2. Now if I share half into 2, I'm going to have quarter and quarter. So I'm going to measure quarter here and quarter on this part. So now this is quarter and this is quarter. So I'm going to join it up here. The back doesn't have a need on that, but there's no breast. So join it like this. Join it like this. And from the blouse line, I just measure 2 inches and join it like this. And join it like this. So this is what I call a bodice. It's like a skeleton. I've not worked the style is going to be the flesh on this skeleton. So now I'm just going to add my sewing allowance here. I'm going to cut that so you see how it look like. Maybe I want to use 1.5 inches of my sewing allowance. This is at the side of the body. I'm going to join half inch allowance like this. We're also going to assume we are making a blouse. Now at the armhole here, I'm going to add half inch sewing allowance. I'm going to add half inch at the armhole, sorry. Add half inch allowance here like this. For the sewing. Join it together like this. Now at the shoulder point here, I'm going to add half inch also. Add half inch also. Now at the neck here, I can add half inch or quarter, whichever I want. So this is just add quarter here. So the same thing I'll do to the back. This is the side here. You can see the shape here. Shows you the side. I'm going to add 1.5 inch here like this. The armhole also I'm going to add half inch, remember? So this is the half inch. And at the shoulder I'm going to add half inch also. And the neck I can add half inch or quarter, whichever one. Now this is the zip. This is the zip line here. I'm going to add whatever, if it's 1 inch you want to use 2 inches. So I'm going to use 1 inch for the zip here. I'm going to cut it out. And see, this is the front and this is the back. So I'm going to open out the dart. Now, so for this dart now, the first one is if I'm making a jacket or a shirt, this is how the dart is going to come out like. So it's going to come out. And see, this is the back. This is it. So if I'm making like a fitted blouse, a fitted dress, now the dart for the front is going to come out differently. So I'm going to cut it along this line like this. You can see that they are both different. So now this is just the basic of making a bodice. Now in my next video, I'm going to talk about making a blouse using what we call shoulder dart. With that shoulder dart, you don't need to put a breast cup inside your clothes. That shoulder dart will help push out your bust fitting on that pattern. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Mthis Fashion Academy to get more updates on new videos. Thank you very much. Bye.